Hey guys, Lucas Linnerson here. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about learning. Learning is one of the favorite things that I like to do. I love learning new stuff. And I think that the basis of learning is being curious. It's about being curious, wanting to know more about whatever topic comes up into your mind. And I think that everyone can benefit from learning and that a curious mind can help us learn. There's a lot of reasons out there for why we learn. We learn for our own pleasure. We learn for getting better at our jobs. And I think that people also learn new stuff to try to become more self-aware. And maybe you try to learn new things in order to become a better leader. We can learn in a range of different ways, but I think that most people might connect learning to going to school. When I thought of learning at first, I thought of, sitting at my desk doing math, having really boring lessons with a teacher that actually didn't care for me. But learning is so much more than that. We learn in everyday life all the time. And I think embracing a mindset of lifelong learning can really, really help us. So today I'm going to show you guys how you can run ahead of everyone else that doesn't use learning as a mindset and get a head start in whatever you want to do, like your career, your university studies, wherever. So we're going to talk about how to learn, what kind of tools there is. So let's kickstart the video straight away and dig into the topic of learning. So one of the first things that I would want to talk about is the fact that releasing the pressure of feeling that you have to learn something can really make you more curious about actually learning. So often when I talk to people, especially at university right now, since I'm studying myself, they tell me, you're so motivated. How can you sit down so much with these things that we have to do, etc.? And the only answer I can come up with is that I have this mindset where I feel like I actually want to learn most things. Of course, there's always courses and so on and content that I don't like learning more about, but generally I have the mindset that I go to university or I go into a job or I read a magazine or a book or listen to a podcast with the mind that I actually want to learn without having the pressure of feeling that I have to learn. And that was a very, very, very powerful discovery for me. And it changed everything for me when it comes to learning. Okay, because I mean, as soon as you give yourself a reason to actually learn something for your own sake, that it really, really, really comes from in here, all of a sudden everything changes. Because all of a sudden you're not learning for someone else's sake, you're learning for your sake. And that changes the whole picture. That's one of the most powerful discoveries I've ever come to, and that it's actually on me to learn as much as I can. So whatever, if you're at university or if you're making a management course or if you're listening to a really cool motivational speak or whatever, you can have the mindset of, oh, this sucks and this is boring. This is something I have to do for work, or this is something I have to do for university. Oh, I can't take this. Or you walk into this lesson or to this course or whatever you have to do, and you have the mindset of, okay, I'll do this and I'll take as much as I can out of it and come better out of it on the other side. And I was listening the other day to a podcast from TED Radio Hour where they were talking about mathematics, and that is something I hate myself. I hate math, but I've endured it and I've learned it and I've made my way through the math courses. But it was this really cool math teacher that was talking about an experience he had, and I really love that story because he was explaining that his kids really got bored by his lessons as he threw numbers and calculations about how to calculate forces uh, right in their face, and they were sitting there and they did everything but what they should have done. And he realized that he couldn't present it this way. Most teachers, or maybe some teachers at least, would say, okay, this is the student's fault and they are not motivated and they are not doing what they should. But this guy instead thought of, how can I make this interesting and how can I get the students motivated? So as he came back next time, he told them that he had a task for them, which was basically to calculate how much force was needed in order to lift the Millennium Falcon from the Star Wars. all of a sudden the kids were super excited and they tried to solve this by going home and learn more about how can they calculate how big is the Millennium Falcon, how much weight is it, blah blah blah. And as they came back, they had been running ahead of the teacher, and he had a hard time keeping up with the speed of the students, which is super cool. All of a sudden, all these students, or at least some of them, were in the flow, and that is the feeling I love when it comes to learning. And that's what I want to share with you guys. And I really hope that you can find that within yourself, because you can actually make even a boring subject kind of cool by just having a mindset of curiosity. I think that it always comes down to curiosity. So this video will be a lot about curiosity and finding your curiosity within. Okay, so as I sat down and tried to research on how to make this video and what I wanted to share with you guys, I found this really cool article online, and I will share it in the link or in the description, the link in the description down below, so you can read a whole article if you're interested. And they have six ways on how you can learn, and I felt that they really fit my personal learning really good, and I wanted to share these with you and comment on them. So let's go through them. I made a really nice presentation here with me standing on a mountaintop in Albania. Okay, so the first thing is teach someone else or just pretend to. This is the whole reason why I'm making videos. I love teaching others the things that I have learned, because I think that sharing is caring. So what they basically said is that if you learn something, in order to really get it into your mind and really learn in a way where you have to understand something, think of it as if you were to teach someone else this skill. So when you read something or when you go to a course, a seminar, or whatever, think about these things in a way where you could explain it to someone else. If you can explain it to someone else, then most likely you have actually understood it, and it will stay in here forever, hopefully. So that's why I'm doing these things. Number two is learning in short bursts of time. That's something I not always do, but I really prefer doing 1 hour shifts, or if I can at least. I like to learn for 1 hour and then take some break and then learn another hour, do something else, and keep on going like this. So I really chop up my learning. So if you have a big book or if you have a big test, I like to put it into smaller pieces. And I think that is a really good advice. The next one is take notes by hand. I know that today a lot of people are doing notes by either their iPad or their computer, etc. But actually research has shown that taking the notes by hand is more effective. So I think you can definitely use your computer to make your notes, but I would also use it pen and paper and do it by hand. So it's a really good thing. And also visualizing it for yourself really helps, at least me. I don't know how it is for you guys. Use the power of mental spacing, and then maybe you ask yourself, what the hell is mental spacing? What they mean with this when you read the article is more to give your mind some opportunity to breathe, basically. So say we have a really big test, for example. This is how I do it. A lot of people are pushing and procrastinating their studying up until the last couple of days before the test. What I like to do instead is to start early. I read in small chunks, like we said, learning in short bursts, and then I give myself some time to think about things. So maybe I study for 2 days, I take 1 day off, I think these things through, and all of a sudden magic happens. So I give my mind some space in between the learning sessions, and that is a really powerful tool. I know some people say that they prefer learning intensively, but actually research has shown that a lot of people, or most people, learn better if they get some time in between, some thinking time, and really take it into smaller portions. The fifth is to take a study nap. I love this one. Who doesn't want to take a nap? I mean, I want to take a nap. I want to take a nap right now. I'll go sit, lay down, and I'll come back to you guys. Whoa. Okay, I'm back. Let's continue this video. So don't forget to take your naps. Actually, if you study before you go to bed, it's shown that it stays better in your mind. Don't go sit by the television. Don't go sit by the computer. If you study, do something else where your mind can think about it and process the information that you get. Take a walk, do some exercise, or take a nap. That's really good advice, is to learn more efficiently. I love that one. Nap is good. Change it up. Okay, so what they mean with this is basically that as you sit down and learn, say you do something at work and you're trying to figure something out, but you get stuck. You need to learn something, maybe you're reading on something and so on, but you keep on getting stuck. What they mean with this is that you change up your tasks. Maybe you should try to learn something else. You look at another topic, or that you change your environment, etc. So while learning, you might not just sit down with the same topic for, say, a week straight. It could also be good to change the topics and maybe do 2 to 3 different topics at the time, to let your brain rest a little bit about the one topic or the other. And this works, I think, from everything. That's why I like sometimes reading a book, sometimes do some university studies, and sometimes look at some YouTube videos, because when I mix it up and change it up a little bit, my brain doesn't get equally tired either. So take a nap in between, do some different things, and you can learn from changing things up and learn different things at different times. I think that's really good advice. I love it. So what I want to do is to share some tools with you guys that I use basically every day for learning. So maybe this is not really rocket science and something new. I just wanted to share them and what helps me a lot. And I think it's more about embracing the mindset of using them rather than knowing them. That is the big difference between lifelong learning and actually doing something about your own learning, or not learn at all. So the tools that I use is reading books and articles. I love reading, but I'm really slow. I'm dyslexic, so reading is not really something that I'm good at. That's something I have learned about and practiced my whole life. But reading books is really cool. Right now I'm reading a book by Simon Sinek called The Infinite Game, and I love it. It's definitely a book that I would recommend everyone to read that is interested in management and business, which I am. Listening to podcasts, that's something you can basically do whenever, wherever, in the car, at the gym, while taking a walk, while running, while leaving from work, whatever. Choose one that is actually teaching you something. I love the Tim Ferriss show. I listen a lot to Rogan, Freakonomics, TED Radio Hour. There's a lot of them out there that you can really learn a lot from. So listening to podcasts is one of the ways that I learn a lot for myself. Also YouTube videos, maybe every now and then change it up. Don't look at the same kind of YouTube videos. Look at something new where you can learn something new. Choose maybe to watch one YouTube video where it's not about just amusement, but actually some facts. Maybe like this video, I don't know. Something that I really embrace a lot in my life has been to talk to people that are good at what they're doing and try to learn from them. Professionals, people with the right mindset. Yeah, observe what good like people do that are really good at what they're doing. If you want to learn something, learn from the ones that know what they're doing. And that's what I do a lot. And if I'm one of those, that's great. But yeah, I'm trying to just give you some ideas here to motivate you to learn more. Putting myself into situations I don't feel secure in, to force myself to step out of my comfort zone. I mean, come on. You telling me to do something I don't like doing, or that makes me feel like, to actively put myself in a situation where I don't feel good? Yes, because I think there is nothing that teaches you more in life than putting yourself in a situation you feel like you cannot handle. Because if you have to handle something like that, you better handle it, and you will learn so much about yourself. I think that the number one key ingredient in learning is actually about self-awareness. Because the more you learn, the more aware you will become about the fact that you don't know much. The more you know, you will understand that there's so much to know, and what you thought that you knew was maybe not as right as you thought it was, and it's mind-blogging. So this experience and this learning procedure will put you in a situation, hopefully, that makes you more humble. because self-awareness is something that comes from within, and which is really hard, and that is really putting yourself in a situation where you might go stepping out of your comfort zone. But I think that if there's something that will be requested on the job market, for example, in the long run, it is the skill of being self-aware. So I promised you guys that this video would give you some head start in whatever you wanted to do, and I really mean it. There is no formula or magic potion that I can give to you guys. It's all about creating a mindset in your brain about learning every day. Get curious about learning and dig into the topics and actually take responsibility for your own learning yourself, and then create this mental picture in your head where you're like in for it all the time and being curious about learning every day, because that is a skill that will be needed for the future in a way more complex world that is about to come. See just what happened now with Corona and the finances crashing. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's about being flexible. It's about being able to relearn, being curious about learning, and be self-aware and humble to other people. And I think that is the most powerful thing that learning can give us. And that's why I have chosen to create a mindset for myself to take responsibility for my own learning and really, really embrace every day to learn something new. And I hope that I can, with this video, motivate everyone out there to do the same. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I for sure enjoyed making it. If you like it, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and maybe even share this video with someone else. I want to challenge you guys out there that if you learned something new from this video, teach someone else about it. And until next time, I really wish you guys the best and take care of each other.